In this video, we're going to go over how to convert SI units of area. In the past videos, we've discussed what area is and why the units of area are always squared. And that's because we're dealing with a two-dimensional space. It's a flat space. It's a flat surface. The way that we convert units of area is a little bit different from how we convert units of length. So going from centimeter to meter is different than going from centimeter squared to meter squared. Now we're going to start with an exploration. We're going to look at a square such as this, and we're going to calculate its area first in meters squared and then in centimeters squared. Okay, we're going to use the results here to come up with a rule. So first, I have a square here, and we know that the formula for the area of a square is area equals length times width. Now, in this particular example, the length and width are the same. Okay, so to find the area, I'm going to take 1 meter and multiply it by 1 meter. And the answer to that, 1 times 1 is 1, and the units are meters squared because I am multiplying meters by meters. Okay, so the area of the square is 1 meters squared. Now, we're going to do the same thing, but with centimeters now. And the fact that we need to remember is 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters. So this value here is equal to 100 centimeters, and this value is equal to 100 centimeters. Keep in mind, we're not changing the size of our square. We're just writing the lengths differently. So here I have the same square, but instead I'm using centimeters and centimeters, and I'm going to calculate the same area for the same space. So area is equal to length multiplied by width. Area is equal to 100 centimeters multiplied by 100 centimeters. Okay, using our calculators, we can find out that 100 times 100 is equal to 10,000. Centimeters by centimeters equals centimeters squared. So the area in centimeters squared is 10,000 centimeters squared. Let's compare. It's the same space. So 1 meter squared is equal to 10,000 centimeters squared. Let's write that down. 1 meter squared is equal to 10,000 centimeters squared. Now, what we know from converting units of length is that 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters. So notice how these two are different. This one is for length, and this one is for area. It's not the same conversion. What's the difference, though? The difference is that instead of multiplying by 100 to go from meters to centimeters, we multiplied by 100 twice because area is two-dimensional. Okay, so now let's approach this in a different way, because we're not going to draw squares every single time we want to convert units of area. So we need to figure out a way to do this more efficiently. So let's say I didn't have my diagram and I wanted to convert from meters to centimeters. Okay, or pardon me, from meters squared to centimeters squared. What I do is I start with the conversion fact for length. Okay, and I can get that from my formula sheet. So I start here. Okay, I can get this from my formula sheet. And note how I line up the units. Here I'm going from meters to centimeters, so I'm going to start with meters here and then centimeters there. Okay, then I'm going to figure out, well, what do I need to do to get from this point to this point? How can 1 become 100? The factor is 100. I multiply by 100. 1 times 100 is 100, right? So to go from meters to centimeters squared, I also multiply by 100, but I do that twice, okay? Because this is squared, it's two-dimensional. So how do I get the factor? I take this 1 times 100 equals 100. Then I do that again times 100, and that's 10,000. So I multiplied twice, okay? So I know that 1 square meters is equal to 10,000 centimeters squared, just like we got in the other page. So now let's extend that to other units. such as square millimeters, square kilometers, and so on. So let's say I have 1 centimeter squared and I would like to convert it to millimeters squared. Just like we did earlier, we're going to find the known conversion fact that relates centimeters and millimeters. I know that 1 centimeter is equal to 10 millimeters, and that's from our formula sheet. So how do I get from this point to this point? How does 1 become 10? We multiply by 10. So when I look at the area conversion, I'm also going to multiply by 10, but I'm going to do it twice. So 1 times 10 is 10. Then I take that answer and I multiply it by 10 again, and I get 100. So 1 centimeter squared is equal to 100 millimeters squared. All right, let's try that with another question. Let's try to convert from square kilometers to square meters. Let me find the fact that relates kilometers to meters, and that is 1 kilometer is equal to 8,000 meters. How do I get from kilometers to meters? I multiply by 1,000. Note that it won't always be multiplication. Sometimes it'll be division, but it's either or, okay? So to figure out what I need to do to get from here to here, well, I multiply by 1,000 twice. So let me do my work in the corner. 1 times 1,000 is 1,000. I'm going to take that number and I'm going to multiply it by 1,000 again. And that's 1 million. Let me see if I can fit all the zeros. Yes. So the answer here is 1 million. 1 square kilometers is equal to 1 million square meters. So now let's take this and apply it to actual measurements. Let's do some examples. The first example is I have 7.80 square centimeters and I need to convert it to millimeters squared. Just like we did before, start with the known fact. Look at your formula sheet. What's the relationship between centimeters and millimeters? We know that 1 centimeter is equal to 10 millimeters. And please make sure that you're lining up the units. You see that? Now, to go from 1 to 10, we multiply by 10. So when it comes to area, we multiply by 10 and then multiply by 10 again. So let's take this number, 7.80. I'm going to take it to the corner here, and I'm going to multiply it by 10. You will get 78. Take that answer, multiplied by 10 again, you get 780, and that's our answer. Can you do it in one step on your calculator? Sure, you can. Just make sure that you are using your order of operations. So what's the final answer? 780 millimeters squared. Let's do another example. This one is slightly different. Notice how in this example we went from centimeter squared to millimeter squared. Here I'm going from millimeter squared to centimeter squared. I'm going the other way. So let's see what happens. So I'm going to write my conversion fact first. And again, I'm going to line up my facts. Here millimeters comes first. I'm going to write 10 millimeters is equal to 1 centimeter. Okay, same fact as example 1, but I just flip them because I want these two to line up and these two to line up. All right, so how do I get from 10 to 1? Well, the number is getting smaller, so I know I have to divide. So I'm dividing by 10 because I know that 10 divided by 10 is equal to 1. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing here, but instead of dividing by 10 once, I divide by 10 twice. Okay, so let me do my work in the corner. 529 divided by 10, you can use your calculator. That gives me 52.9. Take that answer and divide by 10 again. That will give you 5.29. That's our answer. 5.29 centimeters squared. Done. Now let's look at other examples where we relate kilometers squared in meters. Now, if you'd like, I'm going to zoom out for a minute. You can pause the video now, try these by yourself, and then play to watch me solve these questions. Okay, let's begin. So the first question, we have meters squared to kilometers squared. So what is the fact that we know? We know that 1,000 meters equals 1 kilometer. How do we get from here to here? Well, the number is getting smaller, so we're dividing by 1,000. 1,000 divided by 1,000 is 1. So here I'm also going to divide by 1,000 twice. That's going to give me a very small number. So let's do our work here in the margin. We're going to take this number, 18,200. We're going to divide by 1,000. That will give us 1, 2, 3. That will give us 18.2. Then take 18.2 and divide by 1,000 again. That will give us 0.0182. Okay, so the answer is 0.0182 kilometers squared. All right, one more example. We're going from meter squared to centimeter squared. So let's write our conversion fact. So 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeter. Okay, how do I get from here to here? I multiply by 100. Let me try that again. That does not look like a multiplication sign. Here we go. Okay, so here I'm going to multiply by 100 twice. So I'm going to write my work over here in the margin, 0.084 times 100. That gives me 8.4. Take that answer, multiply by 100 again. That gives me 840. And that is my answer, 840 centimeters squared. And that is how we convert units of area. Now, I have some questions here for you to try. Pause the video right now and try them, and then come back to view the answers. All right, the answers to these questions are, so here we are going to divide by 10 twice, and the answer is 0.0743. And here we're going to multiply by 100 twice, and the answer is 180 centimeters squared. If you got stuck on these two, please get help from a teacher. More examples in the next video.